Brad, what's the emotion after the game?
Oh, it was a pretty solid performance, pretty workmanlike, pretty good in a lot of areas. Melbourne were good in some areas. In fact, Melbourne were better than us in some areas. So that's why it was probably a tight game for most of it outside the first 30 and the last 10 minutes.
Where did it swing the game in your view? You know, they sort of got back on their terms and then you controlled it again. What was the key turning piece for you?
We just sorted some things out around stoppages. I mean, they kicked far too many goals from stoppages. We were unable to control the contest after quarter time in there, and the key forwards were pretty dominant. So it wasn't just the stoppage. I mean, you're going to lose a few of them. But I thought their key forwards were exceptional, and you got another glimpse of Jesse. We've got to stop saying Jesse Hogan's going to be a really good player. He's already a really good player. So he was. I thought he was outstanding, and Dawes wasn't far behind.
Does that concern you, the sort of opposition key forward theme, but bobbed up last year? You know, the big, I shouldn't say guerrilla forwards, but the big key forwards have been challenging for you?
Oh, it's ancient history, I reckon, Jay. Like Charlie Dixon kicked goals against the Gold Coast, but couldn't blame the defenders for that from where I was watching. And, Tarrant, Thompson, Hansen, Ferrito have played on all the good forwards this year, and it hasn't been an issue for us. So, I don't look back to last year. I think it's unfair to say that it's an issue because it was an issue in 2014, and it was then. But I think we've gone past that now.
How important was Sean Higgins, Brad, in getting your team back on track in the fourth?
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was wherever he played, whether it was midfield, forward. He's been an absolutely outstanding acquisition for us. He's in career best form. He's the players love him. He's a real leader on and off field, and I thought he organised things really well and did what really good leaders do, which is stand up when it matters.
What's happened with him, Brad? Because especially in the last couple of weeks, he's really come up.
I think he's been outstanding all year. He's been playing sort of forward for most of the year and kick goals, but I think most people will probably look at possession rate and say he's been better of late, but it's probably just because he's playing higher up the ground. So he's able to get... His output has been really consistent throughout the whole year.
Has it exceeded your expectations from when you got him?
I don't know if we had a certain output in mind, in terms of numbers and statistics, but we knew what we were getting in terms of a quality person, and he's just a professional, and he gives himself every chance to play well. And he's a class act. He's an absolute class act, footy in hand and defensively. He's a pretty complete player.
That's 5 in a row for you, and especially today, even a little bit of last week, you did get challenged. And, just as obviously in the back of people's minds is the Gold Coast game, the Collingwood game, etc. How do you reckon this team's travelling now in terms of, answering those challenges?
All we can do is win. I mean, I think that you're going to get challenged by every team, and we're seeing that. I mean, without doing anything Friday and Saturday, we went from 7th to 9th on the ladder, and then we came out today and got the job done and moved to 6th. So this season is unfolding exactly as I thought it would, the most competitive season in AFL history. And again, to clarify, that doesn't mean every game's going to be really close, but it just means anyone can get a hold of anyone on their day. So it's that's what everyone's striving for, and that's what I think the best two teams in the comp are pretty good at. They're pretty level, and they're better than us at that at the moment.
Mm-hmm. The top two and top three we're talking about then, sorry?
I think, if you look at the season now, West Coast have had a terrific year. The Bulldogs in Sydney are around the mark, but I think, you look over a period of time, and Fremantle and Hawthorn have been very consistent over a long period of time. So, they've been able to display that. And it doesn't, our players get frustrated with their lack of four-quarter effort, for sure. But as I've explained to them, we're not going to change that this year. We're going to have to do that over a long period of time until we're spoken about in the same sentence.
Anything else to tidy up before the finals that's really important apart from that fade out that you had today? Any other area that you really want to...
Yeah, again, I think that there's dropping off in your intensity and performance, and there's the opposition getting a hold of you. I think they're different things. I didn't think we dropped off in effort, so we just got beaten a couple of times in contests. And we could have changed that in the coach's box and given the players a bit of an out and tried to protect our defence a bit better. But against the good teams, you need to defend better one-on-one than we did today. So that's, if there's anything out of today, there'll be a fair bit of work on that.
So you think that's the fourth time in 7 weeks you kicked 18 goals or more, or 17 goals perhaps? How offensively do you think the team's clicking at the moment? I mean, you're moving the ball and scoring well.
Yeah, no, I think it's a variety of options. I think Lindsay kicked 5 today, but Waite looked dangerous all the time. Brown and Petrie at different stages looked like the most dangerous forward in our team. So that spread of goal kickers, and I've always said that the best forward lines operate as a unit, and you get a spread, and if someone's getting shut down, then someone else bobs up. But scoring has never been a massive issue for us. It's if we're not defending very well, we actually don't score that well. So it's
coming to play there, first come back, will get better. You hope. Got another whack today. Is he part of your long-term plan, like as he plays more games?
Oh yeah, I mean Lockie's. I think Lockie's pushing up to one of the better defenders, third defender types in the competition, who can also, he's 197 centimetres. He can play on the big blokes as well. He just needs to get his body absolutely right. So he's done that now, and now he just needs a few more games to start to get back to his best form.
How's Ben Brown?
Yeah, he's fine. He just he got a cork calf, so they just iced him up initially, and then told me that he was right to come back on. So just a corky, no problems.
Do you think you're playing it?
It's unusual to ice him up. It seemed like they iced him and then they try to warm it up, or how did that sort of unfold?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I don't question how they treat them, but I've got full faith in them. Did someone in the media get it wrong, Ralphie?
Must have been. I think it was Duck.
Did something?
No, I'm joking. It was not Duck. He didn't say anything about it. So.
Don't Gary. No, I think when you see someone icing, you think that they're out, but our guys have got a pretty strong philosophy on how they get blokes back from sort of direct knocks, corkies and the like.
Having jumped from 7th to 9th and back up to 6th now, does that highlight to you that you can't really afford slip-ups in the last month?
No, we're looking forward. We're looking above. We're if you start playing defensive footy, or you start even thinking of protecting your position, you get opened up. I mean, we're trying to be as proactive and aggressive and as optimistic as we can. We're looking at how we get better, not about how we try and guard against poor performance. And we've got to set the bar higher, and we're going to do that.
Do you think you played as good a footy as you did last year, Scotty? Do you think you've reached last year's level or gone past that? Or how do you compare it, measure it?
We're more complete than last year in terms of positional coverage. We've got 39 guys on our list who have played AFL footy. There are multiple options, both forward and back. We had, I think today, Mullet and Nahas come into the side who were they went out with injury, and then they couldn't get their spot back when they were right from injury. So we've got guys who are fighting for positions, and I think that the depth across our list is better than last year, and the positional coverage is better. But I think our best footy is still ahead of us in 215.
How important, how pivotal today was that, the weight of numbers and the weight of options that you had? Because you were getting beaten in some areas when Melbourne were challenging, but you always just seemed to have a Higgins, a Thomas, a Waite, someone who would do the job when it needed to be done. Yeah,
and that's what we're striving for. That's what we're... we talked about it 5 weeks ago that, this is not a team, and we're not a team that can, say to Boomer, hey mate, come out and win the game for us, or Drew Petrie, and we've had a bit of that in the past. So, we've been really big on a combined effort, and that Drew and Boomer can have massive impact on the game when they do what they need to do to fall into the team structure. And they're going to show their individual brilliance within that. But if we're just relying on our good players winning us games, we won't go very far.
Just want to clarify, you mentioned about didn't want to look back and you wanted to set the bar high. I compared between coaches, but Luke Beveridge said yesterday that he wasn't even going to talk or consider finals and was going to guard against any complacency until they were mathematically assured of making it. Why do you think there's that variance between yourself and another club?
I think it's really difficult for me to comment as to what Luke's thinking, but my point is purely why... I mean, once you make the finals, do you forget about the last 3 games? I mean, you've got to look forward. You've got to keep looking forward and how you get better. my philosophy is always around how do we compete against the best. And so, your direct question was more around, or the direct question was, do we guard against slip-ups? Well, you start getting really reactive when you try and train a team that way. Now we're looking about how we get better.
Thank you. Heath, was that restricted report?
We don't know. We're actually trying to find out that thing.